Yo, YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy, ILLeY. We are back with a video, guys, and today, man, we're talking about how you actually get better in Black Ops Cold War, or really just in Call of Duty as a whole, and how you identify the things that you need to work on, and how you actually attack those things and get better at them. So today's a little bit of like a practice what you preach type situation, where we're gonna go through kind of my process, how I identify things that I need to improve on, and how you can do that for yourself as well. So I'm pretty excited about this one. I'm looking forward to it. So without further ado, let's get right into this. Let's go. So you're just seeing some gameplay from stream of us just chilling, some things we're doing right, some things we're not doing right, and how it all played out. I thought it would be fitting gameplay for this video as a whole. So on the surface, getting better at something or getting better at Call of Duty is, pretty simple. You practice, you get better. But the saying you always hear is practice smarter, not harder. And of course, it's better to practice harder and smarter, and hopefully today we can work towards that. So of course, the process starts with actually playing the game. Duh. Obviously, that's step one. You gotta play the game so that you can improve on the game. So of course, things that we talked about in other videos, like in practice like the pros, or in the road to go pros, in certain ways you can play and practice to get better. Generally, me and my buddies are just playing to have a good time. Unlike many of you guys out there, I'm not trying to go pro playing Call of Duty, but I am trying to play Call of Duty in theory for a living on YouTube and talk about Call of Duty consistently. And so, of course, I want to get better at the game. So I'm still using these things to get better over time, even though I'm not able to play the game as much as I should to really hit my maximum potential. So of course, that's incredibly important. So basically, after you're playing the game, you're playing game battles, you're playing scrims, you're playing in 8s lobbies, whatever it is, however you're playing competitively, or if you're just wanting to improve in pubs and how you play in that way, this also applies to that as well. So whether you're streaming or recording your own gameplay on your end, or now thanks to Treyarch, we've got theater mode back, you can go in and watch your gameplays in theater mode, and that's insanely important. Film review is just the most important step. The self-critique, the self-scouting about how you play, and that really has always been the first step for me and how I improve. So while watching your gameplay back, you're trying to identify the things that you do well, the things that you don't do well, your weaknesses, the things that you can improve on. And again, on the surface, that sounds really easy, but sometimes it can be hard to nitpick the things in your own gameplay if you don't necessarily know what to look for. Before you even get into the film, you gotta kind of get your mind ready for how you're gonna watch this film and the things you're gonna be looking for. And you really, in your mind, have to have like a checklist of the fundamentals and the things that you need to do well so you can look for those things in the game, like centering, like positioning, communication, minimap awareness, playing together, getting your teammates trades, all these types of things are, of course, things you're trying to look for while you're playing, how you're using your stuns, your nades, your smokes, anything and everything that comes with COD, which we talk about a lot around this channel to make you better. And that's all things you have to consider while watching your own gameplay. So of course, while you're watching the gameplay, you're taking some notes, you're writing things down, you're typing it out in a Google Doc, whatever it is. I use a Google Doc personally to kind of just write down my notes and what I think I'm doing well, what I think I'm not doing well. And we do a lot of film review around here, so there's always a lot of opportunities for me to do that. But I want to go through a few things that I'm personally trying to work on right now that I noticed in recent S&D gameplays that I've been watching and breaking down and editing for the gaming channel and whatever it is that I'm trying to work on right now and really focusing on. So we'll start from the top and work our way down. Things that I've noticed in my gameplay that I'm sure maybe some of these things will show up in your gameplay that you can try to improve on recently as well. So first of all, the thing I really want to focus on improving the next few weeks is counting the kill feed, specifically in S&D, really even just keeping track of the names of the people who killed me, who killed my teammates, and keeping a good mental note of where they are, when they died, how they died, and which players it was, so we don't lose track of certain guys around the map. That's been a problem for us lately, is we get killed by a guy, we can't remember which guy killed who or where, and then we lose track of them on the map, and it just hurts our team overall. So that's just one that's pretty high up on the list for me and the boys moving forward, how we count the kills and keep track of players' names in the game. So the next thing for me personally and for me and the boys is recalling what teams have done in previous rounds in S&D. This is something that I don't think I do a good enough job of, keeping a mental note of how the teams played certain rounds, and maybe at the end of each round summarizing how the other team approached it, because it helps you as you go along identifying trends that the other team is trying to do and then attacking the weaknesses of those trends and their setups from previous rounds and trying to go at them. And that's definitely something that we have not done well, and it's hurt us late in games because we don't have good strats to counter what they're trying to do or things that they've done in previous rounds or certain places that players like to sit. And we need to do a better job of calling those things out, identifying those things, and attacking them later in games. So overall, another thing that is just high up on the list for me and the boys. So the third thing here is just always a problem we always have is the patience in when we have the advantage in a 2v1 or a 3v2 or a 3v1 even, where, you know, one of us is like, my life's not important. We're in a 3v1. I can peek it. You know, they get a kill. Now they're in a 2v1 and then we lose patience. One of us peeks just to see what's going on back there. We get smoked. Now it's down to a 1v1 and they clutch up. I think every team has these problems, but it's happened more and more for us lately, especially since snipers are so good in this game that if they have a sniper at the back of the map, you peek it, you get smoked. Now it's a 2v1. You peek it, you get smoked. It's a 1v1. Me and the boys need to have a better patience for overall, and something that we can definitely improve on moving forward. So the fourth thing's a pretty simple one, but one thing that we've been lacking on is communicating our lines of sight in the important moments. Like, let's say it's a 2v2, bombs down, we're trying to attack the bomb. My teammate's in a gunfight, but I'm not. I need to communicate like, yo, nothing's tank. Let's work towards this way or work towards that way. Our communication sometimes breaks down in the important moments, and it's definitely cost us some rounds. So that's something to really consider. When the pressure ticks up, our communication seems to break. And that's something that I think you can identify as well, is when the pressure is really on, the things that need to be worked on the most are the things that generally break the quickest, the easiest, because they haven't become muscle memory yet. So really focus in on the moments that are the highest pressure, the utmost importance, the round 11s, the 1v1s, and that's oftentimes when you'll find the most obvious weaknesses because they'll just break down when it matters the most. I think the next one is that everyone can get better at and continue to improve on almost at any level, and it's how we play for trades and the lines of sight that we're peaking. In Search and Destroy, you know, something that everyone has to keep in mind 24/7 is the lines of sight that you're peaking. Realistically, everyone plays S&D a little bit too flashy, which again it's tough to do sometimes, especially on defense where you don't necessarily have to peek certain things. The lines of sight that you should be willing to peek should all really be determined on where your teammates are and the positioning that your teammates have. I thought about doing a whole video on this specifically to explain this, and maybe I will. Realistically, just pay attention to where your teammates are and what lines of sight they are available to potentially trade. And generally, on defense especially, don't peek it unless your teammate is able to trade that line of sight as well. Just an overall rule to go by, something that we need to continue to be better at following, myself included, in how we play. So the last two things here, the first of those is we just need to do a better job of keeping an eye on the clock, especially when the other team plants the bomb. So when the bomb goes down, we need to start reacting quicker. We're not good at reacting quickly when the bomb goes down, and it definitely costs us a lot of the times where we run out of time to try to defuse. Again, when a bomb goes down, you and your teammate have to pretty quickly start pushing right towards where that bomb site is. You don't have to like beeline it. Obviously, that's not the smartest play. You're gonna have to find the kills around the bomb because the defense has to come back and keep checking the bomb at some point. We don't do a good enough job of playing together towards the bomb site, and it's really come back to bite us. And we need to communicate that and have a better plan of attack when retaking the bomb site immediately that bomb goes down. And you can start communicating those things while you're waiting, potentially when the bomb could potentially go down. Like, all right, yo, if the bomb goes down at B, we're gonna do this. If the bomb goes down at A, we're gonna do this. And our communication just isn't there yet when heading into those things. And again, teams who play together for a long time can maybe have some more unwritten or unspoken rules about how they play certain things. But especially at the beginning of games early on, and especially when playing with new teammates as well, I've got to do a way better job of communicating those things, and I don't do that very well right now. And the final thing is pretty simple and in a similar line of sight, is ensuring that we have a good plan of attack heading into every single round. Like, all right, you're gonna watch bridge, I'm gonna watch B. If I don't see anything, then I'm gonna start pushing towards A. Make sure you have this line of sight watched, so I'll be covered there, and then we'll go from there. Just a good line of communication that's gonna create for a good setup going into every single round. And you can continue to experiment. Of course, it's early on in the games, but that's just really important to learn the game and have success early on as well. So overall, man, a lot of things that we could talk about. That was only in Search and Destroy. I'm not even talking respawn. There's so many things, so many aspects of the game and how you play and things that you can improve on overall. So, and I wasn't even really talking about my individual gun skill and movement as a whole, where I can definitely improve in my movement and how I play in small gunfights and moments. And so there's so much more that I can nitpick about my game, but those are some certain things about how we play as a team and how I play in a team environment that I really want to work on in the upcoming few weeks. Overall, that's the film review process. And then after you identify those things, going into practices or going into when you're playing, really choose like 2, maybe at most 3 things that you're going to focus on, and remind yourself you know, between rounds, between games, as much as possible about the things that you're trying to improve on and work on those things and really highlight, accentuate those things, maybe even overdo them to compensate, to train your brain to do them more often inside those moments. It's really important, and it can be hard to train yourself unless you're really being diligent about reminding yourself about those things and how you want to approach it. So I'm gonna do that better on stream moving forward about how certain things that we want to improve on tonight and this game or in this match or this series or this night of gaming as a whole, and go from there. And I think if you do this process moving forward for all your weaknesses, you're going to see the fastest improvement you possibly can, especially if you're putting in a lot of time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you guys really enjoyed it. I really do appreciate that. But as always, guys, I'm your boy Abezy, and we will see you next time. Keep frying out there. I'm out.